Good evening, everyone. This is Pradeep, Ambassador of Change from GETI, the Global Education and Training Institute from Lucknow, India. We are the premier training institute for teachers and principals in all of India. And we have many in-service and pre-service programs. For more information, please go to 740-840-1000. Right now, you are on our disruptive education platform. And on this platform, we have met with and interacted with more than 1,450 educators from India and all over the world. And this evening, we have for you Mr. Chukwuka Enujekor. He's the founder of Think EdTech from Lagos, Nigeria. He is currently an undergraduate at the Lagos State University. He's also the founder, as I had mentioned earlier, of Think EdTech, an educational technology organization which helps to enhance technology in education. He is experienced with a demonstrated history of working in the education industry, skilled in coaching, educational technology, educational consulting, and instructional design. He is an author also and a research scholar in the field of educational technology. He is the campus director for the Hulse Prize Foundation at the Lagos State University, Ojo. He's very passionate about redefining education and technology in Africa. He will be speaking to us today on the integration of educational technology into teaching and learning. Welcome, sir, and over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. It's been awesome, yeah, and thank you to the opportunity of GETI Global Educational Institute for the opportunity to be speaking live to everyone all over the world, to our viewers and everyone. I say thank you very much for joining. So the topic before us today, with the disruptive education, according to the Global Education Institute, GETI, I'll be having this subtopic under the theme of the disruptive education, the integration of educational technology into teaching and learning. You know, before we start, we'll be behind the word educational technology or the breakdown education and technology. But you know, these two words has its meaning. But I would like to explain, starting from the definition of educational technology. Now, educational technology is the application of both hardwares and softwares in order to facilitate learning. Technology, we are familiar with educational technology. Our mind will always be, we are talking about education because of the word education there. But the technology which has been added to the education is what makes it different and what makes it spectacular. So that's why I said that educational technology is the application of both hardware and software to facilitate educational purposes. You know, I could also call it EdTech because when I mean EdTech, it's the acronym for educational technology. Now, in our normal classroom and teaching, our teaching and learning, which involves the students and the teachers. When I take you back to the traditional method of teaching, which involves the use of the blackboard or the Stone Age, or whatever method the instructor may use in teaching, we are in the 21st century now and everything changes. So being in all of these, things are changing. So the way things are changing, just the same way the sector in the educational system is changing across the world, irrespective of the country you are. So definitely, the integration of educational technology into teaching and learning is predominant in our educational system across the world. If I might flash you back to the COVID-19, the pandemic, during the first phase and the second phase of the pandemic, where we had to shut down schools. But luckily, we had educational technology. Due to the fact that we had educational technology, we started the integration of this educational technology. We started the education of EdTech, in which made teaching and learning keep on, although not in a school setting, it was being remote, whereby the instructor was in a different place and the learner were in a different place. When I mean instructor, I mean teachers anyway. So the integration of educational technology, what are we talking about here? We are just simply talking about the use of these educational tools, the use of this educational technology gadgets, the use of, when I mean educational technology, it might not necessarily be a big laptop, a big computer, a big this, a big technology gadget. It could be the use, as I said, educational technology is the application of both the hardware and the software. It could be it's the use of things that could be able to facilitate teaching and learning. For example, in the high school where we have in the university where we have over 300 students, 200 students studying for a course, and with of course just one instructor, just a lecturer, a teacher, and yes, it will be very difficult for the teacher to teach over these 500, 200, or 300, irrespective of the number, very well. But with the fact of educational technology, it's very easy for them to assess the students. When we even talk of educational technology, being consistent of this educational technology due to the fact that I call it a messiah during the pandemic, because it was the EdTech that saved our teaching and learning during the pandemic. So, and due to the fact that, yes, schools are going back to normal, everything's are going back to normal, I don't think that's still the same way that we should still leave the EdTech. So when we talk about the integration of EdTech, what are the things we need to take notes? What are the things we need to be aware? What are the things we need to involve? One thing I will take first, and one thing I always say, is orientation. We can't say we are integrating educational technology into teaching and learning, and there is no orientation, there are no orientations, and we need to orientate, or we need to train whoever that is going to be on it. That is, for example, if I'm a teacher and I want to use educational technology to teach, I need to be trained in order for me to know how to use it. I can't just pick up any educational technology and start using it. Yes, I might use it, but I might not know the way to use it in order for it to facilitate teaching and learning. If the goal of using educational technology is to achieve one, and which is to facilitate effective and efficient teaching and learning. By the grace of God, I'm running the EdTech as the founder and the chief executive officer of EdTech. And one of our mission in EdTech is to make education effective and efficient using technology. So you can't be using educational technology and you are still passing through stress. You can't be using educational technology and you are finding it difficult to teach. You can't be using educational technology and students are finding it difficult to learn. So the goal, as I said earlier, of using educational technology is to facilitate effective teaching and effective learning. In all of this, as I was saying in the integration, we need to do the first thing that should come to our mind as a teacher, as an instructor, as an educational technologist is orientation and training. When you say educational technology, and for example, let me use the normal one everyone knows, that is the use of systems, the computers. It's not everyone who is even able to even use a computer very well. Some people are not able to use a computer very, very well and effective and efficient. So many people, even the MS Word, the MS Excel, the PowerPoint presentation, it's not really effective. Until they are being trained, until they are being orientated, that is when they are able to use the educational technology or using the system, computer system effectively. Same thing applies to educational technology. You are not able to use the educational technology tools well unless you are being trained and unless you are being orientated on the use of it. And also, in the integration of educational technology, I think another thing that we need to also consider is the employment of educational technologists. And educational technology now is a course that has now been offered in most of the universities of education, college of educations, and institutes of educations across the world. And I'm very thankful to the Global Education Institute, GETI, for this platform, because it's a medium of teaching and learning on the use of educational technology into teaching and learning. So educational technology is now a course that is being taught almost everywhere. So with people learning educational technology everywhere, educational technologies are being produced, educational technologies are being formed, and are being trained in the effective use of educational technology effectively. So, as I said, orientation and training, which is the number one, I consider it the most important thing in the integration of technology, educational technology. Now, I'll be listing some educational technology tools and ways in which we could see things as educational technologists or educational technologists in training being as a period of this time or period of this lecture. So when we talk about educational technology tools that we could integrate in order to facilitate learning, there are so many forms, and I'll be mentioning some of these, and I hope we take note. One of them I'll be talking of is the open and distance learning, which is it could be abbreviated as the ODL, irrespective of the country, irrespective of the university, or irrespective of the college or institute a person finds himself. The open and distance learning is a platform, is an institute that is everywhere. It's in India, it's in Nigeria, it's in America, it's in Canada, anywhere. It's a platform whereby I could be in Nigeria, yeah, the way I am in Nigeria, and I'm attending classes in Lucknow. That's the open and distance learning. So these are ways that open educational technology has made it effective, it has made it efficient. Like I said earlier when I started this talk, that you can't be using educational technology and you find it difficult to teach. You can't be using educational technology and teaching and learning is not efficient and effective. You can't be using educational technology and you as the instructor, you as the teacher are having stress in teaching. No, that's not the goal of educational technology. Educational, there are everything. There's always an objective to everything. There's always a goal to everything. For example, the goal of a motor in a moving car is to take you from one place to another. That is it. That is still where the goal of educational technology is to facilitate learning. So it's anything that will facilitate learning is what we could also refer as educational technology. And I was saying that I was giving the ways and the some educational technology concepts, some educational technology that we have right now. And number one I listed was open and distance learning, in which I said I could be here in Nigeria and I could be attending courses over in a college in Lucknow, irrespective of my location. It's something that happens, and it's something that is rampant almost all over the country. Although being that educational technology is something we are still trying to move up, though I'm glad that countries like India have grabbed educational technology, because I'm sure open and distance learning, according to research, has been ongoing for quite a long period of time in India. So that's I said, irrespective of the country, irrespective of the time, irrespective of the country and place where you are, ODL, which is open and distance learning, is effective and everywhere. Another one of educational technology, another gadget is virtual reality. You know, virtual reality brings engagement in students. It brings engagement in the teaching and learning process. You know, virtual reality whereby students are being able to experience the real life opportunities. Where they're being able to experience real life opportunities, that's virtual reality. For example, I'm talking about a place where I could, as an instructor, I was talking about some places in the world. Okay, due to the lockdown, due to the pandemic, I might not be able to take a large crowd of the class to a particular place due to the pandemic. But with the help of the virtual reality, which could be abbreviated as VR in education, VR is very effective and it's very easy for we to engage the student in VR. Like I said, virtual reality is very important and it's very useful in engagement. That's one really important thing in VR. VR brings about engagement in teaching, brings about engagement in learning. So another thing I mentioned, open and distance learning. I mentioned VR, which is virtual reality. I'm also going to talk about the flipped learning or the flipped classroom. It's another concept in educational technology. Educational technology is a very, very broad something. It's very wide. So flipped learning, when I'm talking of flipped learning is a process whereby the teacher or the instructor gives the student almost 80% of the work which is to be done in the classroom. So the student goes home, The student goes back and focus on this 80%, make research on it, learn and know what is going to happen. Then when the student returns to the class with the instructor, they focus on the remaining 20%, and the student will be able to defend the 80% that the teacher asks him to go back home to learn. This is happens with some of these new educational technology concepts and the rest. So it's more about effectiveness in teaching. It's all about efficiency in teaching. We have scope in educational technology. We have different scopes in the integration of educational technology to learn. Like I said earlier, like educational technology is very broad and it's very wide. One of the scope in educational technology is communication. As an educational technologist, you must be able to communicate effectively. There's in educational technology as a course, there's a sub course under it which we refer to as communication, where we begin to know about the different forms of communication. So as a teacher and as an educational technologist, you should be able to know the effective ways of teaching in technology. Another thing I will also make effective and talk of in the scope of educational technology is the use of the computer system. The use of the computer system is very effective. We have many things we could use the computer system for now. We have a lot of things we could base on the computer system on, and it's very effective because with the integration of this educational technology, computer systems are very highly effective for us to use because it could help us using meetings with classrooms, meetings with friends, and other forms of meeting which could be held virtually, irrespective of where you are. You could connect effectively in a classroom process. So because I'm going to be addressing it in a classroom process, that's why I'm tagging it educational technology in teaching and learning. So there are also the administrative process in education, which involves the bursar and every administrative officers in a school, in a university, in a college. So educational technology has also proved spaces for the administrative process. In order for it to be effective also, whereby you could see that students are not being stressed to get official receipts, official papers, official payments, because educational technology has made it effective. Technology has made it effective. If you check out all sectors in the world uses technology, when you talk about the health sector, when you talk about the security sector, when you talk about the agricultural sector, when you talk about the information sector, when you talk about any sector, the youth sector, any sector you are talking about across the globe, across the world, technology has taken place in it. And definitely we can be looking in the educational system and we see technology taking place in the health sector, we see technology taking place in the security sector, taking place in every sectors in the world, and educational sector is there. So therefore we have to act on it. Also, we could also use the fact of in the integration of educational technology doesn't mean, I would like to chip this in, that we need to throw or abandon the traditional settings, because the traditional settings is just so important. Why we also consider educational technology, because while looking at this traditional system is also important because we started from there. When you talk about the stages of educational technology, the first stage was the Stone Age. Technology didn't just erupt like that in educational sector. No, it started from the Stone Age, in which in the Stone Age, students were being used or being trained the use of stones to learn. From there, technology started coming in, the world was evolving and things were beginning to change. And from the Stone Age, we entered the phase 2, and which we called the print media, the print stage. That was when the use of books came out. So you see, these are the traditional stages. We started from the book, and up to now, we still use the book stage in our teaching and learning. Most schools are still using books. So that's why I said the fact that we are integrating educational technology, the fact that we're integrating technology into teaching, into learning, into education, doesn't mean that we should skip, doesn't mean that we should disregard, and doesn't mean that we should throw away the traditional system of education. From the print and media system, we came up to the mass media, whereby educational technology made it effective and efficient from over 2,000 students, 3,000 students at a go. How? Yeah, I know you could be asking me how. We started with the use of televisions, mass media, whereby there were educational programs. There were programs in education. They were by just, and it was going straight to directly different students, irrespective of the location, irrespective of where they were, irrespective of their time, irrespective of their location, irrespective of their time zone, irrespective of wherever country they are. Educational technology is able to cater it. So the integration of this educational technology is paramount and is predominant in our education. It's important in our classroom system. It's important in our learning system. It's important as long as it is in the educational system. So in EdTech, we try advocating this, that yes, educational technology is important. Yes, educational technology is important. Why? Why is educational technology important? Number one, it facilitates learning. The integration of educational technology into education, into teaching and learning, is to facilitate learning. That's the first important thing, is to facilitate learning. Because as a teacher, the goal of a teacher is to make sure that the behavior of the student is being changed, is to make sure that the students learn from him. As a teacher, if you are teaching and nothing is being changed in the student, then nothing has happened. Learning hasn't taken place. So learning, which could also be defined as a change in behavior of human, is when educational technology has been integrated, educational technology has been achieved with the use, the integration of educational technology has been achieved if learning has taken place. So therefore, of course, learning is going to take place. But for this learning to take place, we don't want to stress ourselves. For this learning to take place, we want it to be efficient. For this learning to take place, we want it to be effective. So the purpose of educational technology, the purpose of the integration of educational technology is to make sure that learning is efficient, teaching is effective at a goal. We could communicate to different group of people, irrespective of anywhere they are. Like I was given the concept of educational technology, and the number one thing I said was the open and distance learning, in which I gave a scenario that I could be in Nigeria, in Lagos, Nigeria, studying courses in Lucknow. Even where I am at the Lagos State University, the Lagos State University offers programs of the open and distance learning, in which different people all over the world, Brazil, America, irrespective, as long as they are eager to qualify to further. One thing with educational technology is that it gives room for all. That's one thing with educational technology. Educational technology does not have to say, okay, you are working, you are a mother, you are a nursing mother, you are this, you are that. No, educational technology embraces all. So that's the one effective thing about educational technology. It gives room for all. So we making sure that educational technology is effective is that we need to make sure that these things are being properly kept in time. And now the schools, I do say it that schools now is important for us to have the integration of this technology. It's important for schools to have educational technologists in citadels of learning, in the university, in the college of education, in the polytechnics, in the educational institutes, and anywhere. It's important that educational technologists are there in order for teachers to be trained in the effective use and in the integration of technology. Fine, yes, there will be other forms. We could have other problems because yes, there's this research I made and this paperwork I wrote, and I tagged it educational technology is not the panacea to educational problems. And when I mean panacea, I mean educational technology is not the solution to educational problems. Because yes, educational technology, yes, it has saved a lot of things from going wrong in the educational system. But if, like I said, if I started with the word if educational technology tools, if educational technology concepts are not being used well, they're not being utilized, then it's not a panacea, it's not a solution to the educational problems in the world. Each country has global change makers, has global education policy makers, as educationists, as SDG advocates. It's important for us to know that, yes, irrespective of our country, wherever we are, wherever continent we are we from Africa, are we from America, then North America, South America, Africa, Asia, wherever continent we are, it's important for us to diagnose and point out some of these problems in education. And I would like us to also know and try sketching it out and ask ourselves some specific questions. Is educational technology the cure, the panacea, or the solution to these problems? Because the integration of this educational technology is very effective. The integration of this educational technology is to make sure that almost 80% of the educational problems are being gone off. I told you I was talking about the stages of educational technology when I said the Stone Age, the paper age, and we came to the mass age, in which we are in the mass age where we could communicate to different people, irrespective of anywhere we are. Now, educational technology has been able to solve. It has been able to solve the problem of students not being able to reach out in rural areas. There are areas where few schools are. There are areas where there are few teachers, and there are areas where learning is not so palatable. So, which we could also call rural areas, or it depends on, it could be suburban or the rural areas, wherever country you are. But educational technology has made it possible. We have the online courses. It's the integration of educational technology that has made all these things possible. I could take courses from Udemy, I could take courses from Coursera, I could take courses from anywhere. I could take courses from the university in New Delhi. I could take courses from university in Mumbai. I could take courses from university in Toronto. Take courses from the University of Lagos, from the Lagos State University, irrespective. Take courses from the University in Pretoria, irrespective of where I am. So, like I was saying, that educational technology is not a panacea, but irrespective of the country we are, we need to diagnose and point and highlight the problems in education and give our own critical views. Is educational technology solving it in wherever we are? Another thing I would also like to point out is maintenance. Maintenance is really something that we need to all check and keep at the back of our mind, because it's very easy for us to adopt this educational technology and maintenance. If we are not being able to maintain the particular tools that we have on ground, it won't be so easy for the educational technology concept and tools to keep on moving from the classes to the next classes. So it's very important that we keep maintenance at the back of our mind. There are I used to know of this computer laboratory etiquette. There are etiquettes and there are rules and laws guiding a computer lab. That is the same way there are rules guiding some EdTech concepts, some EdTech tools, in order for you to keep on achieving the goal, which is to facilitate learning. Also, for the integration of educational technology, the government has a very important role to play in the public sector, simply because simply because of the word funding. Yeah, funding. Irrespective of the country we are, in Africa, are we in Nigeria, irrespective of our continent, anywhere we are in India, irrespective, the government has a major role to play, simply because the public sector has to be funded. In the educational public sector has to be funded. We have different public schools or schools owned by the government all over, but it's the funds from the government that makes the adoption of this educational technology very effective. We have, yeah, and also so the government needs to effect fundings. So I'm going to be rounding up, in which I'm going to be just giving up some skills, which I could say that it could be effective with our phones. We could also integrate educational technology with our phones. Yeah. For example, I'm teaching a concept in let me use the science concept. Whereby I'm taking some biological subjects, and I take up this and I design some concept, pick up some pictures. For example, I'm taking a course on Bao 201 in the university, in the college, and I'm picking up some system of ecosystem, and I pick up some pictures that could correlate or could correspond with my topic, and I pick it up and merge it up in some video slides. Because when I'm talking of this could be of help to the private institutes which are coming up, because educational technology is something that we could always be effective on. So I could just merge up some video slides and merge it up, post pictures, and play it to the classroom. If as a teacher you are privileged to own a laptop, you play it to the laptop. The students are able to see this. They're able to experience this engagement in it. Okay, you want to tell them something. Maybe you want to tell them there is this statue in a particular place in Mumbai. You could just show them this place. Okay, there is this place in this. This is where it is. You've gone to make research as a teacher. You got the pictures of these things in Mumbai. You got the pictures of this thing in Varanasi. You got the pictures of this thing, irrespective of the country you are in India, irrespective of the country you are in America, irrespective of the country you are in France, in Nigeria, in Ghana, in South Africa, in whatever country you are, you got these pictures and you slide in these videos. And the students begin to engage in it. They begin to see the picture movement of it. They begin to see the emotion of these things. You are hereby integrating technology into it. And by the time you have funds, I tell you, virtual reality won't be a problem for you, because from the scratch, you've been integrating educational technology when you don't have phone, even with your hand phone, with the scenario I gave now. So educational technology, once you decide to, that's why I said educational technology is not all about using gigantic computers, using this. You could start educational technology with the concept in educational technology. You could start educational technology with the skills attached, with the scope attached in educational technology, with your phones. You don't even have to get big gadget. You could start with your phones to integrate this educational technology. As an EdTech advocate, I advocate that you don't have to wait. If you are waiting for the government to say, you are wasting your time. If you are waiting for, okay, when I have this huge sum of rupees, huge sum of dollars, huge sum of naira, you have tools in education, tools around you that could facilitate learning. So it's as the conclusion of everything I'm going to be saying is the integration of educational technology. It's something that could be adopted irrespective of whatever thing we have. And I would like us to know that educational technology is not really most of the solutions to the educational problem, although educational technology is tend to solve 80% of our educational problems. So as wherever you are, irrespective of the country you are, it's effective that you check education, what the problems are, and check if educational technology, if the integration of educational technology is actually solving that particular problems that you have there with you. Teachers, educational technologies, institutes, education, students, anyone could undergo this training. At EdTech, we undergo different trainings, different seminars, different conference, international conference, webinars to connect educators all over the world. And honestly, I must commend the chairman of the Global Education Institute for this platform which he has given for a disruptive education, because it's a means of training. And I commend all the teams, the hosts, and everyone. And I say thank you very much for the opportunity to be live at GETI, Global Education Institute. And to the viewers and everyone, I say thank you very, very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir, for the talk. And we have a few questions over here, but I think you answered them all. So good evening. And before we leave, I request you to watch our detox from our disruptive literacy movement, My Global Dream, which is an initiative by Dr. Sunita Gandhi since 2014. This is to ensure everyone's participation in helping India become literate and are taught numeracy properly. This is by people's movement. On this, we have several talks every day. And for more information on this, of the talks that you would like to listen to, please go to 740-840-1000. So thank you, Mr. Chukwuka, and good evening and goodbye, everybody. See you again.